to get the same erection he once had, you need a lot more time and a lot more direct stimulation in order to get there. So doing the same old and getting upset that it's not getting there, you have to change the way you do things. Women too need more direct stimulation. So you have to alter your positions to get that, or you have to use toys, or you have to start introducing new things so that your body continues to respond.
You know where macho women buy their vibrators?
Where?
Black & Decker.
I like that one.
But, the thing is, so now we're going to that topic I wanted to speak about before during the quickie segment, the health question. Because a lot of people think, oh, well, I'm not getting erections. Well, it's just because I'm aging. But ultimately, your penis is a barometer of how well the blood is circulating, right?
That's right. Well, in fact, there was an interesting study that looked at people who had erectile dysfunction. It was a longitudinal study, and they found that erectile dysfunction was a precursor of 10 years for heart disease. So even 10 years earlier, that would mean that if you had erectile dysfunction and you didn't check on it, the chances of you having heart disease later on were very high. So obviously, whenever I see a client with erectile dysfunction anywhere close to the age of 50, anywhere really after 40, I always say, please, you need to check your blood pressure, you need to check your heart, because if the blood isn't flowing to your penis, it may be not flowing to other vital organs.
It is. It's got to be, because, why would it only discriminate against your penis and say, we're going to clog only to this main artery? No,
That's right.
So, it's a barometer. Your penis is your sexual thermometer. That's really your health barometer, right? So you want to be realizing that. And then, so that really bothers me when I see people just going for drugs to treat the symptom, or Viagra or Cialis, and you're just treating a symptom, and it's like a raging forest fire is going on. You've got clogging of the arteries and so on. And
and then you're ignoring it. You ignore it, and then eventually something happens, and you had the warning. The warning signal was there, and you ignored it.
Your penis was the wake-up call, your lack of blood flow, and so on.
Yeah.
So, and then, of course, people don't realize also, well, here we go again. I mean, this is just my pet peeve about using drugs to suppress symptoms instead of getting at the underlying problem, like even blood pressure medications. Alternative MDs will tell you all the time that blood pressure is a symptom. It's in itself not a problem. It is a symptom of other underlying health problems or kidney toxicity and so on and so on. But the blood pressure meds themselves cause a lot of sexual dysfunction and erectile dysfunction, right?
Well, that's the catch-22. Unfortunately, if you lead an unhealthy lifestyle, you're going to develop a lot of things like potential, diabetes and high blood pressure and all the drugs that are given to moderate that, or to make that more not to cure it but to control it, have an effect on your sexual functioning, whether it's arousal or excitement or orgasm or what have you. So that has an impact. So this is why maintaining a healthy lifestyle is obviously so important.
Yeah, and even I'm sure you see that birth control pills themselves can affect a woman's drive. Sometimes messing with hormones in this way makes her lose desire.
Well, there's certainly a link between sexual desire and birth control pill. Again, not all pills, and not all women will have that impact. Only about anywhere 5-10% of women will experience that. Right. But again, you have to decide which one is good for you and which dose is good for you. And you know that there are at least 200 commonly prescribed medications that have a sexual side effect, but your doctor will never tell you about them.
It's so true.
Yeah.
It is so true. And then people don't think also about just the effect of stress. Besides, we spoke before about unresolved relationship conflict. Terrible. Stress, money worries, these things produce the chemicals that are incompatible with sexual arousal.
Especially for women. Not that stress doesn't affect men, because many men do cannot function sexually because of stress. But then you have, on the other side, you have men who use sex to release the stress, right? They find that it's a relief from the stress. But generally speaking, stress can kill you, every part of you. It's not just your erections or your drive or anything, but we know that stress is related to a myriad of illnesses.
It's just everything. It shortens your lifespan, Well, specifically, unresolved relationship conflict definitely shortens the lifespan.
Well, that's the biggest stressor. That happens to be the biggest stressor, because that is the biggest chunk of our lives, is the relationships that we're in. And if that's stressful, very conflictual, very chaotic, then you are making yourself sick.
And it's so funny, because that's what Kiss Your Fights Goodbye is all about. My method for resolving relationship conflict is just right there. But so often people are so married to their discord and their fighting that it becomes such a way of life, not realizing that it's really shortening your life and affecting every aspect of your life, including your sexuality.
And sometimes I see that in my office, and I don't know, I'm sure you get that same feeling, as you want to shake somebody and say, you got to get out, this is killing you. Look what you're doing to yourself.
Yeah. And the thing is, getting divorced doesn't fix it, because you take your same dysfunctional strategies to your next relationship.
Well, you have to fix yourself.
Fix your deal, fix how you're dealing with your stuff,
That's right. And then you see, exactly, it's not a question of removing the partner in order to fix. You fix yourself in this relationship and then see what happens. Sometimes by fixing yourself, the entire relationship gets fixed, but other times it falls apart. Nonetheless, you still have to fix yourself.
You might as well do it, because there's nowhere to go but up. And then you see, because so often, you're a pebble in the pond. You change, the whole surface of the pond changes, and the other person very often just automatically changes in response to you being different. And as you say, if the person doesn't, well, then you're at least bringing a new version of you to your next relationship.
That's right. I like that. I love that, the new version of you. I just had a patient say that. I don't want to be that version of who I was 4 years ago. I'm going to stick with this new version. And if my husband can't take it.
Exact words. Isn't that funny?
Yeah, exactly.
Interesting, huh?
Yeah.
It's sort of the collective unconscious.
It really is.
Yeah. And of course, another one people don't even think about, right, is just the sleep deprivation. How
that's a big one.
Kills your sex drive. People don't think of it. Dead from the neck down, right?
Well, think about how many people in our society suffer from sleep apnea.
Oh, yeah.
And, that's a huge, people don't realize it, but also we live in a society of a lot of, there's, I don't know how many of us are overweight, but plenty enough. And that affects our sleep, because that affects our apnea. You're more likely to apnea if you are overweight. And many other things that we do with ourselves, like smoke and all the other bad habits that we have, that affect our sleep ultimately. And we don't realize that not having a good night's sleep regularly just, doesn't just make us cranky, and it affects us physically.
So. Absolutely makes you a not happy camper.
That's right.
Yeah. Well, it's really fun talking to you.
You too. I'm loving this.
Yeah, we're having a good time. If you were a boy, I'd date you.
I love it. The two radio people talking to each other. It's really fun.
I know. All right, let me just take a brief break, and I'll be back with you in a moment on Ask Dr. Love Radio.
Dr. Love's Quickies.
Mary's about ready to give love the shove, 'cause no matter what she tries, guys don't know that she's alive. To turn guys on, she needs to turn on those green lights, nonverbal cues that say, over here. Most guys won't approach unless they're cleared for landing. So ladies, to kickstart your love life, turn on those green lights and flash your pearly whites. I'm Dr. Jamie Turndorf of Ask Dr. Love.
You are listening to Ask Dr. Love with Dr. Jamie Turndorf. To submit your questions to Dr. Turndorf live on the air, sign up for her free newsletter at AskDrLove.com and get the details on how you can connect with her on Google Hangouts or YouTube during her live broadcasts, or listen to the archived show at webtalkradio.net. If you've recently been through a breakup and are looking for a second chance, wondering how you can reconcile with your ex, or if it's even possible after all you've been through, Dr. Love's book, Make Up, Don't Break Up, presents her proven 5-step plan for reconciling with your ex. This plan was developed over years of research, working with thousands of couples at her Center for Emotional Communication. This is a proven, no-hype, no-nonsense method